Welcome to Read in Minutes. Here's a short summary of the book Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. If you enjoy it, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Now let's get started. Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn is a gripping psychological thriller that delves into the dark and twisted intricacies of a marriage gone wrong. The novel explores themes of love, betrayal, identity, and the power of media in shaping public perception. Set against the backdrop of a seemingly perfect relationship, the story gradually reveals the toxic undercurrents that drive the characters towards their shocking actions. The novel opens on the morning of Nick and Amy Dunne's 5th wedding anniversary. Nick, a former magazine writer, now owns a bar in his hometown of North Carthage, Missouri, with his twin sister, Margot. The couple moved to Missouri after both lost their jobs in New York due to the recession. Their move was also prompted by Nick's desire to be closer to his dying mother and ailing father. However, their life in Missouri is far from ideal. The financial strain and cultural shift from their fast-paced New York life to a slower, more stagnant existence in a small town weigh heavily on their marriage. On the day of their anniversary, Nick returns home to find his wife, Amy, missing. The living room shows signs of a struggle, and it quickly becomes clear that something terrible has happened. The police are called, and a search for Amy begins. Given Amy's background as the inspiration for her parents' famous Amazing Amy children's book series, her disappearance attracts widespread media attention. Amy has always been somewhat of a celebrity, and her disappearance becomes a national sensation, with the media casting Nick in an increasingly suspicious light. As the investigation unfolds, Nick's odd behavior and apparent lack of concern for his missing wife raise eyebrows. He seems detached and emotionally distant, which only adds to the growing suspicion that he might be involved in Amy's disappearance. The police discover a series of clues that Amy left behind as part of a traditional anniversary treasure hunt, a ritual she created for their anniversaries. However, these clues seem to paint a different picture of their marriage, one that suggests a strained relationship filled with secrets and lies. Interwoven with Nick's narrative are Amy's diary entries, which provide her perspective on their relationship from its early days to the time leading up to her disappearance. These entries reveal a woman who was once deeply in love with her husband, but became increasingly fearful and unhappy as their marriage deteriorated. Amy writes about how Nick became distant, cold, and unfaithful, and how she felt increasingly isolated and threatened by his behavior. Her diary entries suggest that she was trapped in a loveless marriage and feared for her life. The reader is led to believe that Nick is hiding something and that Amy might be a victim of domestic abuse. However, the story takes a dramatic and unexpected turn midway through the novel when it is revealed that Amy is not only alive but has orchestrated her own disappearance as part of a meticulously planned revenge scheme against Nick. The diary entries that have been guiding the reader's understanding of the situation are revealed to be fabrications, part of Amy's elaborate plan to frame Nick for her murder. Amy's motivation for this scheme is rooted in her anger and sense of betrayal after discovering Nick's infidelity. She feels that Nick has failed to live up to the image of the perfect husband that she had in her mind, and she is determined to make him pay for his transgressions. Amy is portrayed as a brilliant and calculating individual who is capable of extreme manipulation. She carefully constructs a narrative that portrays her as the victim of an abusive marriage, planting evidence that will ensure Nick is convicted of her murder. To execute her plan, Amy meticulously stages a crime scene, leaving behind traces of a violent struggle, and fakes a pregnancy to further incriminate Nick. She uses her understanding of human psychology and the media to manipulate public perception, knowing that the story of a beautiful, wronged wife will capture the nation's sympathy and turn Nick into a monster in the eyes of the world. As the police investigation deepens, Nick becomes more desperate to prove his innocence. He realizes that he is being framed and begins to uncover the truth about Amy's plan. With the help of his sister, Margot, and a high-profile lawyer, Tanner Bolt, Nick starts to fight back. He publicly pleads for Amy's return, trying to sway public opinion and buy time to figure out his next move. However, Nick is caught in a web of Amy's making, and every step he takes seems to lead him further into her trap. Meanwhile, Amy's plan begins to unravel when she is robbed by two drifters she had befriended while hiding out. Stranded without money, Amy turns to an ex-boyfriend, Desi Collins, for help. Desi, who has always been obsessed with Amy, takes her to his lake house, where he tries to control her, treating her like a captive. Realizing that she has exchanged one prison for another, Amy devises a new plan to escape. She seduces Desi and then murders him, making it look like a desperate act of self-defense after being kidnapped and held against her will. Amy returns home covered in Desi's blood, spinning a new story for the media and the police. She claims that she was kidnapped by Desi, who forced her to stay with him, and that she managed to escape by killing him in self-defense. The media and the public, already primed to see Amy as the ultimate victim, quickly accept her story, hailing her as a hero who survived a horrific ordeal. Nick, however, is horrified by Amy's return. He knows the truth about her manipulative and dangerous nature, but he is powerless to reveal it without exposing himself to even greater risk. Amy's return marks a turning point in the novel. She is once again in control of the narrative, and Nick realizes that he is trapped in a marriage with a sociopath. Despite knowing the truth, Nick is unable to leave Amy because she reveals that she is pregnant with his child, another manipulation to ensure that he stays with her. Nick faces a terrible dilemma. He cannot abandon his child to be raised by a woman as twisted as Amy, but he also knows that staying with her means living a life of lies and manipulation. The novel ends on a chilling note, with Nick resigning himself to his fate. He decides to stay in the marriage, not out of love, but out of a sense of duty to his unborn child. Amy, on the other hand, is triumphant. She has successfully manipulated everyone around her, including Nick, and she knows that she now has complete control over his life. The final scenes of the book depict a marriage that is a facade, built on lies, deceit, and mutual destruction. Gone Girl is a masterful exploration of the dark side of relationships and the lengths to which people will go to maintain control and power. It challenges the reader to consider the nature of truth, the reliability of narratives, and the ease with which public perception can be manipulated. The novel's twists and turns keep the reader constantly guessing, and its portrayal of the toxic dynamics within a marriage makes it a haunting and unforgettable read. Through its complex characters and intricate plot, Gone Girl offers a disturbing commentary on the nature of love, trust, and the masks people were to hide their true selves.